Let's say China.
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 China. China.
China.
China.
There are no strong neighbors, and you can actually see Russia from land here in Alaska.
Go over to China.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Trump statement, tweeting out insults to Angela Merkel. What's he doing?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host.
Yes. Hello, and welcome. I am James Andrews, and you are listening to So This Happened, the only news you need if you have single-handedly made it so that North Korea has nuclear weapons. It's Wednesday, the 20th of September 2017, and I want to jump straight in today with a tweet from Donald Trump. The tweet reads, you try and say that fast, it's not as easy as it sounds. The tweet reads, after allowing North Korea to research and build nukes, while Secretary of State Bill C. also Crooked Hillary now criticizes. So there's Donald Trump single-handedly, well, not single-handedly because he's also blaming Bill for it, but blaming Hillary Clinton for allowing North Korea to create nuclear weapons. He also added that Hillary Clinton and Bill are also responsible for World War I, World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War, as well as having a pretty big hand in the Iraq conflict. And in case you're wondering, the criticism that Hillary leveled at Donald Trump is essentially the same criticism that many people have been leveling at him. And it was when he made the whole "we could destroy North Korea" Rocket Man's on a suicide mission speech he gave yesterday, which was, well, we talked about it yesterday, it was juvenile, stupid and inhumane. And all Hillary said was what a lot of people are thinking. Her quote was, "I thought it was very dark, dangerous, not the kind of message that the leader of the greatest nation in the world should be delivering." And I see nothing wrong with that. I thought exactly the same thing. Now, granted, I'm a nobody, but many other people thought the same thing as well. When you go to the United Nations and say, which is being broadcast around the world, remember, we may just have to wipe North Korea off the face of the world. Millions of people be damned. I don't give a shit. That little fat fuck has pushed me too far. And if I have to kill millions of people to get at him, then by God, that's what I'm going to do. Bloody Rocket Man. Ha ha ha. And I don't know why I'm sitting here talking to you about what Hillary said, because we have the technology. I could just play you what she said. And I think I will. She was on The Late Show last night with Stephen Colbert, and she went on from the statement I just read, and we're just going to play it.
Thought it was very dark, dangerous, not the kind of message that the leader of the greatest nation in the world should be delivering. You are both required to stand up for the values of what we believe in, democracy and opportunity, as a way to demonstrate clearly the United States remains the beacon that we want it to be. While, of course, when you face dangerous situations like what is happening in North Korea, to make it clear, your first approach should always be diplomatic. What I'd hope the president would have said was something along the lines of, we view this as dangerous to our allies, to the region, and even to our country. We call on all nations to work with us to try to end the threat posed by Kim Jong-un, and not call him Rocket Man, the old Elton John song, but to say clearly we will not tolerate any attacks on our friends or ourselves. But you should lead with diplomacy. You should lead with the commitment to trying to avoid conflict however you can.
So there she is, Hillary Clinton, saying what pretty much all of us think Donald Trump should have said, but if we're being honest, we knew he wouldn't. Now, the interview that she had on The Late Show last night was actually quite good. If you want to listen to it, you can find it on YouTube or other such places. It was pretty good. I do want to say one thing, though. Whoever picked out Hillary's outfit, purple, it's not her colour, okay? I'm not being sexist because she's a woman. It's not a good colour on her. You'll see. If you watch the video, it's not a great colour. Anyway, moving on from that, the earthquake in Mexico yesterday has had some devastating consequences. We said yesterday it was just sort of breaking as we were recording the show, that we sent a lot of good vibes down there, and they still need it. Now there are hundreds of people reported dead. School is collapsed, and the children apparently are still inside. They don't know if they're dead or alive. So again, just lots and lots of good vibes down to Mexico for this. It's an awful thing. And of course, just saying these things, it really does just seem insufficient, doesn't it? We can say good vibes and love, and we're thinking about them, but at the end of the day, it's just a horrible, shitty thing that's happened. And, that's it. It's just a horrible, shitty thing. And speaking of horrible, shitty things, which haven't been in the news much recently, but that is the repeal of the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, as the Republicans love to call it. There are now only a few days for the Republicans to try for one last time to repeal the ACA. And President Trump today was busy on Twitter, because he has nothing better to do, right? He was busy on Twitter today urging the GOP senators and congressmen to really work together and come up with a great plan to end affordable health care. And the two people leading that charge are Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina and Senator Bill Cassidy of Louisiana, who have come up with a bill cleverly called the Graham-Cassidy Healthcare Bill. I know, they probably stayed up for hours trying to think of a name. Lindsey, what do you think? I don't know, Bill. We need a good name though, don't we, Lindsey? Yeah, Bill, we do. What do you think? I don't know. What, maybe like healthcare for everyone? No, I don't like that. How about the Better Healthcare Bill? Is that one good? No, I don't know. Well, how about we just how about Graham Cassidy Healthcare Bill? That's brilliant. Yeah, I love it. Do it. Anyway, silly name aside, just what does the Graham Cassidy Bill do to the ACA? Well, in a nutshell, Medicare expansion, eliminated. Cost-sharing subsidies, eliminated. Tax credits, eliminated. Individual and employer mandate, eliminated. Traditional Medicare, changed. Taxes, changed. Essential health benefits, changed. Price restrictions on older Americans, changed. Health savings account, changed. Okay, so what does all that mean? Well, we'll break it down briefly. Medicare expansion. That is going to be eliminated. Now, the states were encouraged to expand their Medicaid programs to include individuals and families earning up to 138% of the federal poverty level. So these are the poorest of the poor. Now, under the Graham-Cassidy bill, that gets eliminated. There will be no more funding to Medicaid after 2027, which sounds like a long way away, but it really isn't a long way away. Now, the cost-sharing subsidies, now what they were for in Obamacare, the law provided payments to insurers to cover the out-of-pocket medical expenses for low-income customers. Now, as of 2020, under the Graham-Cassidy bill, those payments will be stopped. So if you're in that sort of very low bracket of income and you have medical expenses, today they're getting covered. In 2 years, they will not. Now, as far as the tax credits go, the ACA provided tax credits based on income and cost of coverage to low and middle income Americans. And this is something that was in many ways a lifeline to a lot of people. The Graham-Cassidy bill eliminates that in 2020. There will be no more tax credits to low income people. And then the individual and employer mandate. Well, what is that? Well, what it says in the ACA is that any company with over 50 employees, they were required to offer affordable health insurance to their employees. And in order for that to be achieved, the ACA put a fine on any company with 50 or more employees that was not offering affordable health insurance. Well, Graham Cassidy don't see that as a very big thing, so that's going to be gone as well. They would just completely disappear, the fines that is. So if companies said, you know what, fuck it, I'm not going to give you health insurance because it's too expensive. If the Graham Cassidy bill passes, that's fine. There'll be no consequences to that whatsoever. And on to the things that would just be changed with this new bill. And I won't bore you with all of them. If you have a mind to, you can go and find this information out. But the taxes. The ACA established a number of taxes on healthcare industry and the wealthy to help fund the law's coverage. Now, the medical devices tax would be instantly repealed. Now, most other Obamacare taxes would remain untouched, but the medical device tax was a big one. It taxed medical device companies, and those taxes were directly used to fund the ACA. Well, they will no longer be there anymore. And what does that do? Well, as many other things we've seen in the Trump administration, it makes the rich richer and the poor poorer. Now, one of the big benefits of the ACA was the essential health benefits. That was that insurers were required to provide coverage for 10 essential health benefits, and that included access to maternity care, prescription drugs, and mental health services. Now, under the Graham Cassidy bill, they don't get eliminated per se, but what the bill allows is for states to apply for waivers that could change what qualifies as an essential health benefit. So by giving the power to states, we all know that there are certain states which have very sort of conservative ideas about healthcare. Well, under this new plan, they could then enact that conservative idea and make it so that maternity care may not be covered because, by God, that's close to Planned Parenthood and they are the fucking devil. But of course, the big concern with allowing states to petition to decide what is an essential health benefit is that people with pre-existing conditions could possibly be affected by this. And that is something that we cannot allow to happen. As an individual with a pre-existing condition, if that were to go away, and I'm speaking very personally here, but if that were to go away and insurance companies could say, you know what, we're not going to insure you because you have this in your past medical history and that shit could just crop right back up again and that would cost us a lot of money. So you are a risk that we are not willing to take. That, my friends, to a lot of people is a death sentence. And of course, not all Republicans are on board with this Graham Cassidy healthcare bill. One very prominent character is Senator Rand Paul, who is very much against the Graham Cassidy plan. He is in fact calling it amnesty for Obamacare. He's arguing that it keeps it, it doesn't repeal it. And Senator Rand Paul, if you really think that this bill is giving too much to the people, then you are an evil, fucking, sinister cunt. And I'm sorry if anybody finds the use of that word offensive, but I can guarantee you it is not as offensive as taking away healthcare from millions of Americans. That is fucking offensive. Calling Rand Paul a cunt is not offensive by any means when compared to taking healthcare away from millions of Americans. What a twat. And it seems that Donald Trump is just so desperate to have something go his way that he's tweeting out about this. One of his tweets today read, "Rand Paul is a friend of mine." It sounds a bit like a country song, actually, doesn't it? You know what? Let's do the tweet as that. "Rand Paul was a friend of mine, but he's such a negative force when it comes to fixing health care. Graham Cassidy bill is great and okay." Yeah, that's right. Fucking skills, man. I'm telling you. I was born with them. Can't help it. And after his country song, Donald Trump then went on to urge all Republican senators to fulfill their promise in a tweet that read, I hope Republican senators will vote for Graham Cassidy and fulfill their promise to the repeal and replace Obamacare. Money direct to the states. The only problem with that statement is, if you look at the statistics, most Americans do not want to repeal Obamacare. They want to keep it and fix it. So the idea that these senators promise to all Americans to repeal Obamacare is nonsense, because most Americans don't want to see it repealed. And while it may be true that when people voted for Donald Trump, they really thought they wanted Obamacare to be repealed, the sad reality is that a lot of people had no idea that the ACA, which is what they were on, was in fact Obamacare. And when they found that out, they went, fuck, I'm on Obamacare. Oh dear, it's actually not bad at all. Anyway, on that point, we're going to end for the day. Thanks very much for joining me on this conversation. It was fun as always. And we can continue this conversation on Twitter at SoThisHappen. And please like and subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Google Play, wherever my voice is heard. And recommend it to a friend or an enemy, depending on what you feel about the show. Anyway, have a great evening and we'll do it again tomorrow. Take care. Goodbye.
Lehnen Sie